Hi, and welcome to episode 37 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and it's been quite a while since I last recorded. You can find me in various places, which I will link down below. Um, I'm most active on Instagram, where I am Yoshi and Lucy Knits, and I also have a tea shop where I sell hand-dyed yarn at Yoshi and Lucy. Um, so like I said, again, it's been a while since I last recorded for various reasons. First of all is that I've been extremely busy with the shop. I had a big wholesale order to fill, and then I was very busy with kits, which I'm still working on now. And second of all, I've been going through like a knitting rut. I kind of lost my knitting mojo recently, so I haven't made much progress on my projects to do an episode every 2 weeks. So, um, but I'm recording right now. So, um, so the format of this episode is just gonna be the usual. So I'll show my FOs and then whips, and I do have 4 giveaways to announce, which I would do after that, and then just shop and life stuff after that. So I do have one FO, or a finished object, for this episode, and I finished my sweet pea dress that I was knitting for my friend's baby, and this is a pattern by MINA PHILIPP, and I knit the 6 month size. I think 6 months to a year, I believe, is the range, and yeah, I really love it. It's so cute. um, so the top part I used, well, the whole dress is using my own yarn. The top part is the coral colorway in my Inez base. I had leftover yarn when I knit my amulet shawl, and then the skirt I used Barbie Girl in the Isabel base, which is a merino nylon blend, and the Inez base is 100% merino. So I mixed the bases, which is fine by me. And yeah, I really love it. It's so adorable. I still need to add the buttons on the back. I think I have some pink buttons laying around that I'm gonna sew on. So yeah, the baby was born shortly after I finished this. So um, I'm going to be, well, I'm probably just gonna give it to her in person, because I'm going to visit her hopefully next month. So yeah, I love it. I love the picot bind off on the sleeves, and then on the bottom I really think it just adds to the design. And when I saw the pattern, I knew I just had to make it for her baby. um, I really would want to knit like in all the sizes. I think this pattern is just so adorable. And yeah, once you get to the skirt, it's just mindless knitting around and around and around until you knit it long enough. So yeah, I'm really happy with the result, and I'm really happy with the speckling on the skirt. This is my first time knitting with this colorway, and yeah, I really like it. So that's my only finished object from like the last month and a half. Um, so yeah, I haven't done that much knitting. Um, as for my whips, I cast on another pair of socks. I was talking about in the last episode that um, I normally cast on socks. I knit my socks on 64 stitches on a US 1, and I feel like, well, my last pair, that it was way too big for my foot. Like, even before I blocked it, I put it on and I felt like that the cuff was a little baggy. So I decided to knit this pair of socks on 56 stitches. So here is my hoe. I only have one done. And the yarn I'm using is Cat Sandwich Fibers. I love her logo. In that Pool Boy colorway, I picked this colorway up last year, and I have quite a few of her skeins of yarn, and they've just been sitting there, so I should cast on at least one. So yeah, I cast on 56 stitches, and I tried it on as I was knitting it, and I couldn't get it on my foot. So I was a little worried, and so that's why I blocked the first one after the first sock after I finished it, just to see how it is, and it does, you know, it doesn't stretch enough. I could get it on, but it's very hard to stretch it over my foot. So I think the problem was that the last pair that I knit was using a 2-ply yarn, so it might have been a little bit thicker, and for that reason, or maybe just my gauge was just loose for some reason, and that's why they don't fit. They fit baggy, because these definitely are a little bit tiny. Like, even when I put them on and I stare at my foot, like, you can see the fabric stretches a bit just to fit just to fit my foot. So I will be knitting the second one. I'm gonna do 56 stitches because I want it to match. Obviously, I don't want to have one sock be baggier than the other one, but I'll probably stick to my 64 stitches from now on, at least when I'm knitting with like the 4-ply yarn. I'll stick to that. So yeah. But yeah, and Tonka is snoring in the background. I don't know if you can hear him. He's been sleeping here all day. So yeah, that's my first whip. My second whip is what I think caused my knitting mojo to be gone, is the Vita wrap by Helen Stewart. So so it's a chevron pattern, and then the color change is lace. So what I was reading, I was looking at people's projects on Ravelry and just reading the thread she has in her Ravelry group. People were saying that their cast on was a little bit too narrow versus like Helen's sample, and so people were casting on more stitches. So I added 2 more repeats. So I actually cast on like 130 something stitches versus like the 90 something stitches that she calls for in the pattern, because I want it to be, you know, a wider wrap. I don't want it to be narrow. So I made a mistake when I was knitting this, and I had to rip it out. So I don't know if you can see that pink yarn. I did an Afterthought Lifeline, which I've done before in the past, and I just left it in just in case I mess up, because I like doing these little decreases sections over here. I messed up and it just didn't look right, so I had to rip it out. So I had that setback. So I lost like maybe like 10 rows doing that. And then I don't know, I just felt like it's been taking me forever just to knit this section. And I checked the pattern. It's like over 100 rows before you get to the lace section. So it's like pretty repetitive, and I just was kind of bored, and I would try to work on it every day, and I would get through like 2 rows, and I felt like I wasn't making any progress. So it just kind of killed my knitting mojo. And luckily I had a knitting meetup recently with some other podcasters in New York, and I was able to knit on this, and I finished the first chevron section. So I'm actually up to the lace, but I haven't picked it up since then, because I feel like I need to have the brain power to be knitting lace, and I don't want to mess it up and have to rip it out because I've already had bad luck with this with this pattern. So I'm gonna knit the lace out of my vibrant colorway. This is in the Inez base. So this is for the shop. I have to cast on I have to dye my own skein. I don't have one. So yeah, I think this is gonna be really nice. Really nice contrast once I get around to knitting it. So the two grayish or black the tonals I use is Vortex, and this is a new just black tonal is Darkness, which I added to the shop after I dyed it. So yeah, these three colors will go on the shawl. Yeah, I don't know, I just didn't feel like knitting, and yeah, I do want the final product, and I do want to have this as a sample, so I need to get on it and just dedicate some time to knit the lace. And then I don't know after the lace how many rows of the chevron section I have to do, but I think it's a lot, but not as much as this first section was. So hopefully I won't want to stop knitting on it. What the needles I'm using, sorry, I forget sometimes to say the needle. So I'm using a US 7s on my chagus. Last episode I showed I bought a bunch of chagu needles for various projects that I have in mind. So I'm using that one for that product. So my third whip is also another Sweet Pea dress by MINA PHILIPP. So this time I'm knitting the larger size, which is 4 to 5 years for the little baby's big sister. So and her birthday's coming up in October, so I want to get this done before then. So this has been my main project the last 2 weeks, I think. Or no, I started this at the beginning of the week. I also had mistakes with this. I don't know where my brain is, but I cast on, like, I did an increase row and I had too many increases, and then I realized that I had like over 300 stitches, so I had to rip it all out and do it again. So I was like, wow, this top is huge. I think it's like I had enough stitches to make like to fit a small delt, so it's ridiculous. So I ripped it out, and then yeah, now I'm at the skirt, and I'm using my own yarn again. So the top is using my Isabel base, and the colorway is That's My Jam, and the skirt is using Senora, which I'm very, very happy with this colorway. Like, as I've been knitting this, I'm like, I want to knit a shawl for myself out of these colors. It's just so pretty, and I feel like the green in this colorway like really pops out. It's just so, I guess I'm tooting my own horn here, but I'm just really, really happy with this colorway, the combination of all the colors and how it's knitting up. So I'm going to knit a shawl with these colors soon. I don't know if it's right away because you know, I already have a list of stuff I want to knit through, and I also don't want to knit the same colors again and again. I think that would be a little boring. But I'm thinking of maybe knitting the Cross the Pond shawl, which is also by MINA. I do have that pattern, and I have yarn that I designated for that for that pattern, but I mean, it's been like over a year since I bought that pattern and I still haven't cast it on, so maybe it's time to just knit it with a new color, a new colorway. um, you know, maybe that'll inspire me to get around to it. So yeah, I have a lot of knitting to do on the skirt. I did like maybe like 4 inches, and I have a lot more to do before I can add the main color, the top color again. So yeah, it's so cute. Here's the skein. Hopefully, I think I might be able to use just one skein for this. I'm not sure. I didn't read the pattern to see if I needed more than one skein. If not, I'm gonna have to dye it some more for myself. But yeah, I know she's gonna love it because she's really into dresses and stuff like that. So she's gonna be really excited, and it's gonna be really adorable to have, like, sisters wearing the same dress. That's gonna be really cute. I'm just picturing the photo. That's my motivation to finish this. It's the cute photo that's gonna happen. So yeah. I will probably finish this. I want to finish this month, so that's my goal. So yeah, that's all. So yeah, that's all the knitting for this episode. I do have 4 giveaways to announce, so I'm gonna do that now. So yeah, it's been a while since I recorded, and I have so many people offering me giveaways, so thank you so much. I apologize that it's taking me so long to announce them, but there you go. So the first giveaway is the Oracle shawl by KRISTIN of the Yarngasm podcast and Wool Divine Yarns. So she did a really beautiful pie shawl with brioche. So I'm offering that one as a giveaway. The second one is the Color Blender Scarf and Wrap by MINA PHILIPP, which is like a fade wrap and a shawl. So you can use various skeins, so it's a very like versatile pattern. The third pattern is the Clark Socks by JACLYN of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, and this is her first published pattern, so congratulations, JACLYN. And it's a really beautiful pattern sock. And the fourth pattern is the Amaranthine socks by Lauren Peters. This pattern I actually supplied yarn support. So this is my first time doing that as a dyer, so that was really exciting to see collaborating with a designer. The colorways that were used in the pattern is for Georgia Peach, which is for the main part of the sock, and for the contrast color is Agua Menti. So both of those colorways are offered in the store now. I have the Georgia Peach as a dye to order, so you can pick whatever base you want it on. And Agua Menti, I have them as mini skeins. So yeah, that's really exciting, and I think it turned out really well. I think it was just a perfect match between colorway and pattern. To enter for the giveaways, you just have to be a member of the Ravelry group. So I'm going to open up one thread, and I don't know what the prompt is going to be yet, but you can just comment and for a chance to win the giveaway. So I know I haven't been posting a lot on the forums lately. I keep forgetting to put my show notes there, but I'm going to do that for this episode. So if you're interested in entering, just go there. So now up to shop news. So it's recently I had my 1-year shop anniversary, which is insane. I can't believe that it's been a year already since I opened the store. I don't know where the time went. So yeah, I've also recently had anniversary sale. So thank you so much if you took part in that. And I've been reflecting a lot recently on the growth I've had recently, especially the last 4 months. I've had a lot more traffic in the store, a lot more, sales, obviously, and a lot more followers and just people commenting on my yarn. So that's just really exciting. And yeah, I had wholesale. I started doing wholesale recently. And so I just did a really big wholesale order for a new store that's opening in New Jersey later this month called the Local Yarn Store. And yeah, it's over 300 skeins, both fingering and worsted. So if you're it's in the South Orange area and want to check out my yarn in person, I suggest you go to that store when they open up. Don't know the exact date yet of when they're opening, but I really am excited to go and visit there, and check out a new shop. I've also done a wholesale order to a shop in Columbus, Ohio called Yarn It and Haberdashery. So that's really exciting. I've done kits for them and various other colorways, and they've been, responding really well to my yarn, so that's really nice. And yeah, so then I did the fade kits recently for the What the Fade that Andrea Mari is doing, her mystery knit along, which started last week, I think. So since I've been like so busy with this wholesale, sometimes I feel like I'm just out of the loop because I don't check social media every day. Um, I've been really busy, and not just to say, oh, I'm too busy, I can't be bothered. It's just that um, I know for me, sometimes I feel overwhelmed with social media. There's just so many things going on, so many people I'm following, and I feel like I can't be on there constantly like I was before. Because of that, I didn't know that she was doing this knit along, and until somebody asked if if I was gonna do like a fade, because I already had some fade kits, but they needed more skeins. So I did 2 fade kits. Um, One that's purple and green, and another one that's more, neutral. So it's a fade from a gray to black. Um, I wasn't expecting that much of a response. I just said, okay, whatever. I'll just put these kits together and see what happens. And I've had an amazing response to those kits. I'm like still shocked by it. I'm still dyeing up those orders now. And so yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, I wasn't expecting anything, and just to, the response, I got so many like people emailing me asking if I had more kits available and wanting to know when I can ship it out, and that that's crazy. So thank you so much. um so I did to expand, the kit, it's a 6 skein fade. So I had to um, dye up some new colorways. So this colorway is chocolate cake. So it's a brown and it's speckled uh, with pink and black and orange. So I don't have it in the store individually yet because I just haven't had um, the time to dye it. But I will dye this across various bases because I'm actually interested to see how this will look in all the different bases. And then so the darkest skein is Twilight, which is black with pink and um, orange speckles. I don't know why I can't talk. So yeah, um, I'll put up a picture. There you go. It's better to just show it like that instead of me juggling skeins like crazy. So So yeah, I have those kits still available as a pre-order, and I did make a sulfated kit, so it's less skeins if you just want to knit a sweater, which I also had a very positive response to. Um, I recently had a sale, so it ended yesterday, and now Etsy has this new thing where you can put certain listings for sale. So instead of using a code, you just me as the owner, I can just go in and pick which ones I want to be discounted. So I decided to discount certain listings at 20%. So it's at 24% now. Um, just some of the stuff all of my worsted weight is discounted at 20. It's because it just hasn't been that popular. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue with worsted in the shop on a regular basis. Obviously, you know, now it's getting colder months, so maybe you want to knit with worsted. I don't know, but usually people just buy fingering. So let me know if you're still interested in worsted. So I have one sock blank left, and I listed this at 20%. So yeah, and here is one of my worsted weights. This is Cheshire Cat. This is 100% merino. This is Twitter painted. This is on my sparkle base. Listed at 20%. And Canyon on my Mercedes base, which is a BFL nylon blend. So yeah. And I have quite a few other colorways I put on discount. So that's going to be up for a week just to see how that goes. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I might be having some more wholesales in the future. Obviously, I will announce it on the podcast and on Instagram when that happens. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see, you know, where the shop goes. I never thought that I would. I never planned to have my own business. It's just, I just decided to try it out to see what happens, and you know, it's been really successful so far. So let's just keep going, you know. So I do have my own dedicated dye space, which is a big help for me. I had to recently expand because I didn't have that many pots, you know, dyeing up, you know, at once. Luckily, my dad is a contractor, so he was able to help me out with the electricity. This is like things you don't think about when you just want to dye yarn. You're not thinking about, you know, electricity and all these other things. So he's been a big help, and he's going to continue to help me in the future with that. So yeah, that's it. So besides shop things, what else I've been doing? So recently I've been trying to get back into reading. I used to be a really avid reader, like my whole life. I even worked in a bookstore for 4 years, and then after I left that bookstore, I just stopped reading books. I've been in a reading slump for like 5 years now, and then once I picked up knitting, I just felt like I didn't have the time to read because I used to read on my commute like over an hour a day. So in the average year, I could read like 50 books a year. So I went from reading 50 books a year to reading nothing, or reading like 2 books. So it's just something I wanted to get back into. So I have a subscription to Audible, which is audiobooks. I felt like, you know, with audiobooks I can find the time to listen, you know, when I'm doing other stuff. And so now that I've been working a lot more, I've been listening to audiobooks as I'm working, and I really feel like that helps me to concentrate on my work. It's very very weird, but I know some people don't like audiobooks because they say they can't concentrate. But for me, I feel like I can focus in on my work and listen to the book at the same time. So I have a subscription to Audible, but I only get 1 credit a month, and I can, if it's like a 10 or 12 hour book, I can go through that in like 2 days because I usually listen to it like sped up. So I decided to renew my library card because it's been such a long time that I've been to the library that it expired. So I signed up for a library card, and you know how you can check out audiobooks through Overdrive, which is an app that a lot of libraries offer. So I've been going a little bit crazy listening to audiobooks. So last month I read 13 books, which is a lot, considering that the month before I, listened to nothing. And so yeah, it's been fun. I have a huge list, a queue of books. Not everything is offered on the library, unfortunately. Some things I have to put on hold, long wait. That's just what happens. So some of the books that I've been listening to lately, I'm not gonna go through all the books because that would take forever. Um, One of the books I listened to is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I actually read this book years ago when it first came out. I actually have an advanced reader copy. So when the first book came out, and this is a series with about, so it's a sci-fi young adult series, which is a fairy tale retell. Each book is a fairy tale retelling, and the first book is based on Cinderella. So it's like Cinderella, but the main character is a cyborg. So that's like the premise, but it's like she just uses like the stereotypes, or not the stereotypes, the basic story of Cinderella, but expands on it much more. And um, it's just a really good series. So I listened to Cinder, and then the second book is Scarlet. The main character is based on Little Red Riding Hood, and it just expands on the world much more. Like Cinder actually shows up in the second book, and she has a storyline as well. So now I have the third book on hold, which is Crest, and I'm like number one in line in the library, and I'm just like checking every day. I'm like, come on, I just want to listen to it. Um, and then there's like I think two more full novels, and a short story collection after that. So I really like her writing style. It's very action packed, and I felt like I just want to keep listening and just to see what would happen, And I think she has a new series coming out this month or next month. So I'm very excited by that. So the second book I'll talk about is another YA novel. It's Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So this series is based on a assassin who is then enslaved, and then she's offered her freedom if she becomes the assassin of this ruler. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this book as much. I've heard lots of good things about it, so I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, like booktube, if you know what that is. So just like a lot of book reviews, and a lot of people talk about this author, and YouTube tends to be a lot of YA focused novels because it's like a lot of teenagers and early 20 people reading these books and having YouTube shows. So that's what they tend to read. So yeah, I found the main character really annoying and really bratty, and later on I found out that this was actually Sarah J. Maas wrote this when she was 16, like her first draft, and I can clearly see I can clearly see now, why the main character is the way she is. I heard that the series gets much better, so I am going to pick up the second book, I don't remember their name. I'm gonna have to use an Audible credit because it's not at the library. So I'll check out at least the second book to see if I like it or not. So yeah. So yeah, sorry I went on a tangent about books. So if you like these little reviews, I can continue doing these at the end of the episode. So if you're not interested, you can just shut off because it's not knitting related. So yeah, I don't have any acquisitions because I haven't really been buying yarn. I haven't bought a skein of yarn since May. So I'm kind of proud of myself. Just I think because not having knitting mojo, not having the time to knit, and because I haven't really been checking Instagram as much, I think all those combinations is why I haven't been buying yarn. So I think I'm going to continue this until at least Rhinebeck. I'm going to allow myself to buy yarn then. Yeah, and I actually need to figure out how I'm going to get to Rhinebeck. It's not wait until last second to get a ride. So I need to figure that out. So yeah, Tonka's still snoring. I don't know if you can hear him, but I think that's it for this episode. So thank you so much if you've gotten this far in the episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.